Okay, here it goes. Okay, we're going to do a video that, a little art lesson that revolves around three spaces: background, middle ground, foreground. Okay, so the background is usually the thing that's furthest away from us. And in a landscape, which is this, what this is going to be, it'll be the sky. So you don't really draw the sky, but you do draw things in the sky. So one of the things in the sky might be a cloud. Okay, so and you can have clouds that have varying shapes. They can even go off the page. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of clouds, and then later, if I want to put another one, I can. By the way, we're doing this in pencil. One thing I didn't put in is what would be the horizon line, and the horizon line is usually a pretty straight line. It's not a good idea to put it right down the middle. So I'm going to go, for my drawing, a little above middle. So if this is the halfway point, then I'm going to go a little bit higher than that. Say this is the horizon line. I'm going to draw that in lightly. Okay, you know, the most obvious horizon line is when you go to the beach and you look at where the sky meets the water. That's a horizon line. But you have it everywhere. And we're going to have it in our drawing, but our drawing is going to have some other things. Now in the sky, you can put objects like sun, stars, moon, planes. And I can remember one time when you guys lived on Santa Helena, standing outside and seeing some hot air balloons. So I'm going to draw a hot air balloon right over here, which is kind of a circle with a basket. Okay, and this one's going to be, maybe far off in the distance, and I'm going to draw another one, and this is going to be much bigger. Now I've seen I made a mistake here because my hot air balloon has got to be in front of the clouds because it's closer to me than the clouds are. So I'm going to put a big one right here. By the way, all of these things that I'm putting in, they're optional. You don't have to put them in at all. That looks a little rounded, but that'll work. I'm going to put in some mountains next. So here's my horizon line. So there's going to be some mountains on the horizon. They're going to go in front of the clouds. Okay. And maybe behind the balloon. Okay, so I'm going to do something called overlap. Here is the balloon. Here is the mountain. Okay, I'm going to put another mountain in. And all mountains don't have to be, with a peak, looks like a triangle or an upside down V. They could be kind of flat. And, think of some different things and then go off the page. All right. Now, there may be some other mountains in front of those if you want to put them in. Or the next thing I'm going to put in, I'm going to put another mountain over here just in front of this cloud. So it gives us a little distance. Okay? The next thing I'm going to put in is some hills. And the hills are going to go in front of the mountains. They're closer to me. And they're going to be, for my picture, kind of rounded. And, here's one that kind of goes in front of the others. Here's another one over here that comes on the other side of the balloon. And another one, maybe this is going to go up higher, like that. Oh, I see another spot for a good mountain. So this is going to go behind. And once again, I'm going to do a little overlap so that this balloon looks like it's closer to me than the mountains. So now I have some mountains and I have some hills. And I'm going to put this whole thing on a lake. So I'm going to just draw a line right here. And the hill's going to come down to the lake. Here's the lake. I'm going to round it a little bit over here, just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to draw this side of the lake. Okay, this is the far side of the lake. Hills come down to the lake. Okay, you can add some more hills if you want. So now my picture's got great depth to it. And let's see, I'm going to put this, make the lake kind of thin right in here, and then maybe get a little bit narrower up here. So it's like a strip across it. So I don't see the whole lake. There's one end over here that I can't see. There's one end over here I can't see, but there's a lake right there. Then let's see, I want to put some trees in my picture. So I'm going to put a tree here. Now the tree's going to be kind of close. So it's going to be bigger than the mountains. All right, and you can just kind of put it in like that. Make the top of the tree like so. All right, maybe they're going to make that darker so that, and I'm going to be going over this, all of the little big lines that I'm going to keep with a marker. So they'll be really dark. So we're using markers today. And I say I'm going to have a path coming up from the water, and as it comes toward me, it's going to curve and it's going to get wider. So here it is, starts out narrow, stays just a little wider, 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 and then it's very wide. And that gives my picture a nice depth to it. So now I have a background with clouds. I have a foreground with mountains, hills, and a lake. A middle ground with mountains, hill, lake, and foreground. This is all the stuff in the foreground. Those things are going to be bigger. So let's say there's some bushes over here. Okay, even though they're not as big as a mountain, they're going to be pretty big because they're up close. So they kind of overlap. There's some bushes along the pathway here, maybe another bush over here. And you see they're getting smaller because they're getting further away. And I'll put another, bush over here, maybe over here, maybe a tree. This tree is going to be a little further away, so it's going to be smaller. So it's going to look like this. And that's middle ground. And I'm going to put two sailboats. One's going to be close, and this is just a triangle, a little rectangle underneath it. You don't have to put much because most of it's going to be underwater. And then I'm going to put another one even smaller, and it's going to be further away. Okay, so now I got some nice depth going on there. Maybe I could put a boat over here in the water that's a little bit closer. Maybe it's a bigger, let's say like I don't know, some kind of craft. Got a thing like this. Maybe it's got an outboard motor. Okay, so there we go. So that's a pretty ugly looking boat, but it'll have to do. Put a stripe on it right there. Okay, and there's a steering wheel. Maybe there's somebody, no, I won't do that. Over here, we can have some more bushes, maybe. And maybe we'll put this little tree on a hill. Okay, and maybe a stone wall over here. And I don't want to make a bunch of meatballs, so I'm going to make different size stones. Some of them are going to be pretty rounded, some of them are going to be square. And as they go off, the wall's going to get a little bit smaller when it goes off to the other side. Now that looks all the same, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to change it up here and make this one bigger. Okay, and this one going right off the page. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, a couple of little branches. I think that's good enough for now. We can do more if you wanted to. I might put some little lines here to make it look like grass, I guess. Yeah, so now we got a nice picture. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our markers, and I got a thing of washable markers. There's 10 of them. So I got lots of colors. But you don't need that. You can do with 2 or 3 colors if you want. And I'm going to outline everything. So I'm going to start up here with my cloud. And I can change things if I want. Let's say I don't want that cloud to be quite that big. So I'm going to make it smaller this time around. And you don't have to be exactly on the lines you made. The lines are just like an idea to give you where you're going. There's a mountain. There's another mountain. There's a mountain over here and over there. This mountain went behind the tree, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then it pops out over here. Okay, and I think I got another bit of a mountain right in here. Then I have some hills. I'm going pretty fast now. You guys can stop the video anytime you want and do what you need to do and then catch up. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to make that a little mountain right there, another little hill right there. I'm going to put a couple of buildings right here, just for the heck of that. Looks like a city, Maybe off in the distance there's a big old city. All right, here's the shoreline. I'm going to stop right there. Boom, boom. And that's, where the water is. And you notice I left out the balloons, so I'm going to get to those in a minute. All right, so there's my lake on the far side, and I'm going to take my balloons. I notice this shape isn't that great, so I'm going to change it just a little bit as I draw it again. And then if you want to get detailed, because this is pretty far away, you can make a little basket and whatever you want to do on your balloon. And then the other balloon, which is way off in the distance. And you know what would be cool? There was another balloon way over here, just very far away. There we go. So now we got 3 balloons. Okay, now I'm going to go to the middle ground again. I'm going to work on this tree. Just a simple tree. There we go. We got 2 boats, one closer to us, and another one further away. Okay, and then let me finish the tree. There's the trunk, couple of branches. There we go, sitting on a hill. Here's the shoreline that's closest to us. Maybe there's a dock out here, I don't know. You know what a dock is, right? Where boats go, or people. We've fished off the docks, haven't we? I think we have. Here's the path. This is really important, the way this path is made, because it really gives us a feeling of depth in the picture. And then I'm going to just kind of quickly put in the bushes. Okay. And there we go. And oh, I forgot about this boat. There's the motor. I'm going to curve it a little bit. And there's a windshield. Maybe the steering wheel or whatever they call that. And that's it. And my stone wall. Okay.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the camera.
Oh, okay.
This is Grammy.
In here. I thought you were on the phone. This house is freezing, Bob.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm okay with that. All right. Now, the next step is what is called, we're going to color this in, but we're going to color it in a different way. Okay, we got a nice picture. It's interesting. If you want to erase some of these lines, like, oops, did I do the top of the tree? I didn't know if I did the top of the tree. I want to make sure I got that right. Okay, and all these internal lines here are pencil lines, so I can erase those. Since I don't have an eraser at the moment, I'm just going to ignore them. You can do that too. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to fill this in with different kinds of lines. Now, lines that go parallel to one another are called hatch lines. If you put them close together, it looks darker. If you put them further apart, it looks lighter. You can use different colors for all these lines, any colors you want or any combination of colors. Okay? If you do the hatches and then you cross them, it's called crosshatch. And this is used a lot in some types of drawing. Okay? Can you see that? Let me move that up. Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't even able to see that. Ha ha! Okay. This is why it's the first video and I'm learning how to do it. I thought I had everything. Okay, so crosshatch, then we have dots. And the dots, once again, like the hatches, if you put them close together, things look darker. If you put them further apart, they look a little bit lighter. That's shading, so kind of value. This is one that is interesting, scribble, and it's random, okay? And you notice there's a lot of empty spaces there. That's to make it look lighter, and if you want darker, you put them closer together. Little circles, and I'll show you how all these work later on. Wavy lines. And wavy lines can sometimes shape the contour. So, if, for example, when we're doing the path, you might want to make long, wavy lines for that. Why is this so? Okay, and you can do different combinations. Over here I have lines with dots. You can do lines with circles, curved lines. You can do concentric lines, lines that go around and around one another, or in the case of a triangle or a square or a rectangle. And you can even have them open. You can do random crosses, which are unlike, crosshatch, which is more organized. Okay, you can do different shapes. This is a V shape, repeated, and you can even use words, like I put price, and I just kept repeating it, and by changing the color of the marker and changing the size of the words, you can get different effects. And okay, over here you have the last one, curls. And by the way, there are lots of others that you can make up, but these are just some samples. Okay? Now back to the original picture, which I can see. I thought you had the whole thing, but you didn't. So I was drawing in parts where you couldn't see. That's too bad. I have to adjust that. That'll be something we'll do next. So now, the next part of the assignment, and I'm going to start with that balloon in the middle, because you can see that. And I think the balloon is going to predominantly be red. And I'm going to use, let's see, I think curls will look good in that. So I'm just putting curls in to color that balloon. And I'm going to, some of these balloons are pretty fancy. They have lots of colors and designs. And so just making these curls over and over. And I'm left-handed, so my curls go one way, but yours will probably go in a different direction. And some of these curls are looking like circles. That's okay. Now to make this more interesting, I'm not going to go with just one color, but I'm going to go with, let's see, what would go good with red? Well, I think purple. So I'm going to, because purple has red in it. It's made of red and blue, as you know, and I might just use X's to do the rest of it, like a pattern across it. I can go right over some of the stuff I've already made. Now this doesn't look like much right now, but as you go along, it gets more and more interesting, or at least that's what we hope. Okay, and later on I can go back and say maybe yellow will look good up here. Yeah, I can put some yellow in there right now. I'm not sure how much. Where's the yellow? I don't know how good yellow shows up. Well, I can't find the yellows. We'll pass on that right now. Where are you, yellow? So I'm going to go with pink. And I'm going to go with more curly. This gives you just some lighter colors. I'm going right over what I already have. Okay, so that balloon is interesting, though I would like to put yellow on it. Then I'm going to go to another object, like, let's say the tree. Now, we have a tendency to go, okay, trees are green. Well, tree can be green, but out here in New England, trees can be lots of other colors as well. Red, orange, yellow. I guess that's about it. So I'm going to go with orange. This is going to be kind of a fallish picture. And I'm going to use, I think scribble. Scribble looks good. And I didn't erase all those lines. You probably would have, especially if you made them as dark as I did. You see how that really looks cool? And I'm staying right inside the shape of the tree. And since I didn't erase all those lines are pretty dark. I don't usually make them that dark. I think I might add another color just to make it darker. Sometimes in the fall you get orange. And by the way, this is a fantasy picture, so it doesn't have to be realistic. This is going to be a purple tree if you wanted it to be. It really makes no difference. But green goes good with orange. So I'm going to try putting some hash marks in green. Put them wide apart, kind of, just to break it up a little bit. And I'm left-handed, so once again, my angles are going to be a little different than yours, at least for ease. Okay, I'm going to stop the video there, see how we did, and we'll come back to it.